Seniors never refrigerate these 9 foods. Did you know your refrigerator could silently harm your health as an older adult? A shocking new study reveals that storing certain everyday foods in the fridge may increase your risk of foodborne illness, reduce essential nutrients, and even trigger harmful chemical changes, especially in people over 60. In this unmissable video, we will count down the 9 foods you should never store in the fridge, starting from number 9 down to the number 1 food that may pose the biggest hidden threat to your health. From heart-healthy garlic to common staples like bread. How you store your food plays a major role in your overall well-being. Poor food storage habits can quietly affect the health of older adults even when the food appears to be healthy on the outside. We will explain exactly why certain foods spoil in the fridge, what happens on a chemical level, and how to store them properly to protect your taste, nutrition, and safety. Whether it is stale bread, bitter coffee, or bananas turning black overnight, we offer science-backed tips and real-life examples to help you make smarter choices. The number 1 food on our list may look perfectly fine, but when stored cold, it can quietly affect senior health. Watch until the end to learn which common kitchen habits may drain your energy, upset your digestion, and weaken your immune system, and what simple steps you can take starting today to regain control over your health. And do not forget to like, comment, and share this video with every older adult you care about. Let us know in the comments. Are you keeping any of these foods in your fridge right now? 9. Potatoes. We begin with a very familiar item in almost every kitchen: potatoes. You may have placed potatoes in the refrigerator without much thought, but this simple act can quietly turn a healthy favorite into a potential risk. When raw potatoes are stored in cold environments like a fridge, a quiet chemical reaction takes place. The starch inside the potato starts turning into sugar quickly. Then when you bake or fry these potatoes at high temperatures, the sugar reacts with a natural amino acid in the potato and forms a compound called acrylamide. According to the U.S. National Cancer Institute and studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, acrylamide is linked to cancer risk in animals and is still being studied for its effects on humans. Additionally, when kept in the fridge, potatoes lose their natural nutrients due to oxidation. They may also become soft, dark-colored, and develop an unusual sweet taste. If you have ever noticed a strange flavor in your home-cooked fries or roasted potatoes, improper storage may be the cause. This not only ruins the flavor of your food, but can also lead to a bitter aftertaste and digestive discomfort, especially for those with sensitive stomachs. Potatoes are a valuable source of nutrition when used correctly. In just 100 grams of potato, you get about 17 grams of healthy carbohydrates, plus important nutrients like potassium, vitamin C, vitamin B6, and fiber to support digestion. However, these benefits are lost when potatoes are chilled and chemically altered in your fridge. So what is the best way to store potatoes? Keep them in a dry, dark, and well-ventilated area. A bamboo basket in a kitchen corner away from sunlight and moisture will help them stay fresh, firm, and naturally sweet. If you are keeping potatoes in your fridge, gently take them out today. Have you ever stored potatoes in the refrigerator? Did you notice any change in taste or texture? Try changing your storage method and see the difference for yourself. If you found this information helpful, feel free to share it with your loved ones or leave a comment below. 8. Bread. Now let us move on to another common food, especially popular among older adults: bread. A soft, fragrant slice of bread served with eggs, a spread of butter, or some fresh vegetables is often an ideal choice for a light breakfast. However, there is a common mistake that many people unknowingly make, storing bread in the refrigerator to keep it fresh longer. While this may sound reasonable, the cold temperature of the fridge actually shortens the shelf life of bread. Instead of preserving it, the cold causes the bread to go stale faster through a process known as starch retrogradation. When starch in the bread is exposed to cold air, its molecules begin to crystallize and push moisture out of the bread. As a result, your loaf may look fine on the outside, but inside it has become dry, hard, and lost its soft, flavorful texture. Even worse, if you take bread out of the fridge, leave it at room temperature, and then place it back again, this creates a moist and uneven environment. That is the perfect condition for mold to grow. For older adults with weaker immune systems, eating moldy bread can cause stomach upset or lead to more serious toxic reactions, especially if they have underlying health conditions or are taking antibiotics. So how can you keep bread fresh without risking your health? The answer is simpler than you might think. If you plan to eat the bread within 2 or 3 days, store it in an airtight container or a bread box in a cool, dry place, away from moisture and direct light. If you buy in bulk or cannot finish it within a few days, freeze the bread. Yes, freeze it, do not refrigerate it. Freezing helps preserve freshness, prevents mold, and does not damage the texture. You can slice the bread in advance and simply thaw the number of slices you need. Every loaf you buy can still be a delicious and healthy meal if you store it properly. Do not let stale, moldy slices of bread affect your daily nutrition and enjoyment. Remember, freezing is good, refrigerating is not. Have you ever put bread in the fridge? If so, try leaving it out next time and notice the difference. And if you found this helpful, feel free to like or share it with your family and friends so they too can learn how to store bread the right way. 7. Onions. Next on the list is an ingredient found in almost every kitchen: onions. Whether you use them to stir-fry vegetables, cook soup, or make sauces, onions always add a rich flavor that brings your dish together. But here is something many people do not realize. Storing whole onions in the refrigerator is a common mistake, and the consequences go beyond just losing flavor. In their natural state, onions have a dry, papery outer skin. This outer layer acts like a natural shield, protecting the onion from moisture and helping to keep it crisp while preventing bacteria from getting inside. However, when you place whole onions in the cold and moist environment of a refrigerator, that protective layer begins to break down. The onion starts to absorb moisture from the fridge air, becoming soft, soggy, and more prone to mold. Even more importantly, onions are well known for spreading their smell. In the fridge, onions release sulfur-based compounds that not only make the onion spoil faster, but can also easily transfer their strong odor to nearby foods, especially fruits, milk, and butter. Have you ever opened the fridge and noticed a faint onion smell in your milk or watermelon? That is not your imagination. It is a real chemical transfer caused by these sulfur compounds. And if you slice an onion and store it in the fridge, even if you wrap it well, bacteria can still multiply quickly. Cold and damp conditions do not completely stop bacterial growth, especially if the onion's surface has already been cut. For older adults, consuming pre-cut onions stored for too long can lead to digestive upset, bloating, or even foodborne illness. So what is the right way to store onions? Keep whole onions in a dry, airy place away from direct sunlight. A bamboo basket in the kitchen or a pantry cabinet works well. If you must cut an onion in advance, use it the same day or store it in a sealed container in the fridge for no more than 24 to 48 hours. Do not let fresh onions become the reason your fridge smells unpleasant or your meal becomes unsafe. Instead, stick with the traditional way. Simple but much more effective. Do you often store onions in the fridge? If so, try changing your storage method today and notice the difference. If this tip was helpful, share it with your loved ones. A clean and safe kitchen starts with the little things. 6. Tomatoes. If there is one fruit that many people believe should be stored in the fridge to stay fresh longer, it is the tomato. But did you know that putting tomatoes in the refrigerator can actually take away their natural flavor, make them mushy, and even reduce their valuable nutrients? Tomatoes are tropical fruits. They grow best in warm and sunny conditions. When placed in the fridge, their natural ripening process is interrupted. The enzymes inside tomatoes that help develop flavor, color, and nutrients are almost completely stopped. As a result, you might see a tomato that looks fine on the outside, but when you cut it open, it tastes bland, feels mushy, and loses its juicy freshness. Have you ever sliced a tomato that looked ripe and firm, only to find it soft inside with a sour or flavorless taste? That is likely the result of chilling it in the refrigerator for too long. For older adults, this loss of texture and flavor can make meals less enjoyable and reduce appetite, especially when eating fresh salads or homemade soups. But there is more to it than just taste. When tomatoes are kept in cold temperatures for too long, they lose a large portion of their vitamin C, one of the most important nutrients for older adults. Vitamin C boosts the immune system, supports skin health, and helps prevent inflammation. This nutrient breaks down gradually in the cold, which means your tomato may no longer provide the same benefits you expect. So how should you store tomatoes properly? It is simple. Keep them at room temperature in a dry and well-ventilated place. A helpful tip is to place them with the stem side facing down. This prevents air from entering the top, allowing the tomato to ripen evenly and stay fresh longer. If your tomatoes are already too ripe, cook them right away or turn them into sauce for freezing instead of placing the whole fruit in the fridge. Sometimes small changes like this can help you keep the full taste, color, and nutrition of this simple fruit. And especially for seniors who need quality food and enjoyable meals more than anyone else. This matters more than you may think. How do you usually store tomatoes? If you have been keeping them in the fridge, try a different method and notice the change. And if you are starting to see how little habits can make a big difference, stay with us as we continue exploring in the next section. 5. Garlic. If there is one food often called a natural remedy in the kitchen, it is garlic. With its strong flavor and many benefits, from boosting immunity and fighting bacteria to lowering blood pressure, reducing inflammation and supporting heart health, garlic has long been seen as nature's medicine. But unfortunately, many people unintentionally lose all those benefits simply by storing garlic the wrong way, inside the refrigerator. You may think that keeping garlic cold will make it last longer, but in reality, the opposite is true. When garlic is stored in the cold and moist air of a fridge, it tends to sprout quickly. Once garlic cloves begin to sprout, their flavor changes. They become bitter, sharp, and even rubbery. At the same time, the key compound that gives garlic its health power, called allicin, is greatly reduced. Allicin is a natural sulfur compound that only forms when garlic is chopped, crushed, or chewed. It is the ingredient responsible for garlic's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and blood vessel supporting effects. But when garlic sprouts, its internal chemistry changes and allicin can no longer be formed effectively. So while you may think you are eating garlic for its health benefits, you might be consuming cloves that have lost much of their value. Even more concerning is a habit some people have chopping garlic and soaking it in cooking oil, then storing the mixture in the fridge for later use. This practice may seem convenient, but it is one of the most dangerous food storage mistakes people make without realizing it. In the low oxygen and cold environment of the fridge, garlic stored in oil can become the perfect place for a dangerous bacteria called Clostridium botulinum to grow. This bacteria produces botulinum toxin, a rare but serious illness that can cause muscle paralysis, breathing problems, or even death if not treated quickly. The United States Food and Drug Administration has issued clear warnings: never store garlic in oil unless it contains an acidic ingredient like vinegar or lemon juice. Even then, do not keep it in the fridge for more than a few days unless special precautions are taken. So how should garlic be stored properly? Keep the whole bulb in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place such as a mesh bag or basket in your kitchen. If you need to chop garlic in advance, use it within a few hours. If storing it for longer, mix it with vinegar or lemon juice and only keep it for a short time. Garlic is a precious gift from nature. Do not let poor storage choices turn this superfood into a hidden danger. Choose smarter ways to keep its full benefits, especially if you are at an age when boosting immunity and protecting your heart matters every day. Have you ever kept garlic in the fridge? If so, maybe today is the day to start fresh, simply by returning garlic to the place it belongs. 4. Coffee. Next, let us talk about a familiar drink that is loved not only by younger people, but also by older adults: coffee. A warm cup of coffee in the morning can help you feel alert, inspired, and gently wake up your body. But are you storing your coffee the right way? Many people, even regular coffee drinkers, unknowingly place ground coffee or coffee beans in the refrigerator, thinking it is the best way to preserve the aroma. Unfortunately, that habit actually damages the flavor, lowers the quality, and may even harm your health over time. Coffee, whether in bean form or already ground, is very absorbent. It soaks up both moisture and odors from the air, much like a sponge. Each time you open the fridge door, coffee absorbs surrounding smells, from leftover food, ripe fruit, or even the strong scent of onions if stored nearby. So what happens next? When you brew your coffee, it may taste strange, more bitter, more sour, or just not like what you expected. The rich aroma you love may be replaced by something unfamiliar. Beyond just flavor, the moisture inside the fridge is another quiet enemy of coffee. Every time the fridge door opens and closes, changes in temperature cause condensation to form on the coffee's surface. This damages the natural oils in the coffee beans, which are the source of important antioxidants like chlorogenic acid. These antioxidants not only give coffee its signature aroma, but also offer health benefits for the heart and brain, and especially important for older adults. There is one more concern that few people realize: damp coffee creates a perfect environment for mold to grow, especially if stored in an unsealed container. Using moldy coffee by accident not only ruins the taste, but can also upset the digestive system, weaken immunity, and cause mild reactions in people with sensitivities. So what is the best way to store coffee? Keep it in an airtight, dark-colored container placed in a cool, dry spot away from sunlight. If possible, buy small amounts to use within 1 or 2 weeks so your coffee is always fresh. And if you truly love that deep, comforting flavor, avoid putting coffee in the fridge. Doing so only leaves you with a dull, disappointing cup that lacks both aroma and value. The taste of a good morning should not be lost because of one small habit. Have you ever kept coffee in the refrigerator? If yes, now is a great time to try storing it at room temperature and enjoy the difference from your very first sip. 3. Honey. Now let us move on to a sweet and highly valued food, honey. In traditional wisdom, honey has always been called liquid gold, not only for its golden color, but also for its many health benefits. It supports digestion, soothes the throat, boosts the immune system, improves skin health, and helps reduce inflammation naturally. Yet there is one common mistake that even regular honey users make: storing the honey jar in the refrigerator. Have you ever opened your fridge and found that your honey has turned cloudy, thick, or even hard, like sugar crystals? That is the effect of cold temperatures. In the cool environment of the refrigerator, the natural sugars in honey begin to crystallize quickly. This causes the honey to become thick and firm, making it harder to scoop or pour. Some people may think the honey has spoiled, but this is actually a natural physical reaction. However, opening and closing the jar repeatedly once it is crystallized can introduce moisture, increasing the chance of fermentation and even bacterial contamination. The danger is that mold may start to grow inside the honey if too much moisture gets in. This is especially risky for older adults who often have weaker digestive systems or are taking medications. Honey has strong antibacterial properties because of its low pH and high sugar content. But when that natural environment is disrupted, those protective benefits fade away. There is also another hidden problem. Cold temperatures slow down the activity of natural enzymes in honey, such as glucose oxidase. This enzyme helps create a small amount of hydrogen peroxide, which gives honey its mild healing and antimicrobial effects. When these enzymes are slowed or destroyed, the immune boosting and healing power of honey is greatly reduced. So how can you store honey properly and keep its full benefits? It is simple. Keep your honey in a sealed glass jar at room temperature in a dry and shaded area away from direct sunlight. There is no need to refrigerate it. As long as the surrounding air is not too hot, honey can stay good for months or even years without spoiling. If your honey has crystallized, do not throw it away. Just place the jar in a bowl of warm water, not too hot, and stir gently. This will return the honey to its smooth liquid state. But never heat honey directly in the microwave, as high heat can destroy its valuable nutrients and enzymes. A spoonful of honey in the morning can warm your body, ease your throat, and gently energize your day. Keep it pure and powerful, simply by leaving it outside the fridge. Have you ever put honey in the refrigerator? If so, today might be the perfect time to make a change, not just for the quality of your honey, but also for the quality of your health. 2. Fresh bananas. Among the most loved fruits, especially by older adults, bananas are always a top choice. They are easy to digest, soft, mildly sweet, and rich in potassium. Bananas are often called a natural gift for heart health, digestion, and gentle energy support. However, there is one habit that seems reasonable but may actually ruin your bananas: placing them in the refrigerator before they are fully ripe. At first glance, this may seem harmless, but in truth, storing green bananas in the fridge stops their natural ripening process. The enzymes responsible for turning starch into sugar shut down in cold temperatures. As a result, the bananas may never ripen properly. Their peels may turn gray or black, while the inside remains firm and not very sweet. Even if the bananas are already ripe, placing them in the fridge causes their skins to darken quickly, and the inside may become overly soft or develop strange textures. The taste can become off, not as smooth or sweet, and sometimes with a sour smell that reduces the joy of eating. More importantly, rapid chilling also reduces natural antioxidants like dopamine and catechins, important compounds that protect brain cells and slow aging. For older adults, these nutrients help improve memory and calm the nervous system, supporting better sleep and mental clarity. If these compounds are lost due to incorrect storage, the benefits you expect from bananas may disappear. Another problem is moisture. In the fridge, condensation can collect around the banana stems or where they touch other foods. This can lead to mold, especially if the bananas are stored too long. Eating even a small part of moldy banana may upset digestion, cause bloating, or mild stomach pain in sensitive individuals. So what is the best way to store bananas? Keep them at room temperature. Hang them if you can, or gently place them in a ventilated basket away from damp areas and direct sunlight. If you have too many bananas and cannot finish them in time, peel and slice them, then freeze the pieces for use in smoothies, desserts, or baked goods. This helps keep their nutrients while adding convenience. Bananas are simple, gentle fruits, but they can spoil easily if not treated properly. Do not let their natural goodness be frozen away in your fridge. Give them the chance to ripen naturally, stay sweet, and give you the gentle energy your body needs each day. Have you ever seen bananas turn black after being in the fridge? If so, try changing how you store them and enjoy the difference from the very first bite. 1. Olive oil. Now we reach the final item on today's list, a kitchen essential often called the heart of the Mediterranean diet, olive oil. With its smooth, mild flavor and strong health benefits, including support for heart health, anti-inflammatory effects, and powerful antioxidants. Olive oil has long been a top choice for older adults who want to stay well. But there is one common mistake that many people make without realizing it: storing olive oil in the refrigerator. At first, this might sound like a smart move. After all, keeping oil cold should prevent it from going bad, right? In reality, the opposite is true. When olive oil is kept in the fridge, its healthy unsaturated fats start to solidify. The oil turns cloudy, forms clumps, or even becomes thick like wax. This change in texture can make it harder to pour or measure, especially for older adults with reduced grip strength or poor vision. But the problem is not just in the texture. Each time you take the oil out, use it at room temperature and then return it to the fridge. The repeated temperature changes break down its chemical structure. This process increases oxidation and destroys natural antioxidants like polyphenols and vitamin E. These are the very compounds that help protect blood vessels, reduce inflammation, support memory, and slow down cell aging. Over time, a once heart-healthy oil may lose its protective value and even become harmful, contributing to inflammation that affects joints, digestion, and blood pressure, problems that seniors are especially concerned about. Also, when the oil thickens, it becomes harder to control how much you use. You may accidentally pour too much. This not only wastes the oil, but can also lead to eating too much fat, gaining weight, or losing track of calories. All important factors when trying to stay in shape at an older age. Improper storage may also affect the flavor. You may notice the oil does not taste as fresh or mild. It might even develop a strange smell, a sign that it has started to go bad. So what is the proper way to store olive oil? Keep it in a dark-colored glass bottle or a sealed metal container stored in a cool, dry place away from heat and direct sunlight. Do not store it near the stove or oven. When stored correctly, olive oil can maintain its quality for 12 to 24 months from the date it was bottled. If you buy a large bottle, consider pouring some into a smaller one for everyday use. This limits how often the oil is exposed to air. Olive oil is a wonderful gift, but only if stored the right way can it keep all its value. Are you keeping your bottle of olive oil in the fridge without realizing the effect? If so, no worries, you can change that today. Just one simple action like moving your oil out of the fridge is already a small step toward protecting your heart, joints, and memory naturally and sustainably. We have just taken an eye-opening journey through some of the most common foods in your kitchen and discovered how easily they can be stored the wrong way. You may have once thought that putting everything in the fridge was the safest choice, but the truth is, not all foods belong in a cold environment. From potatoes, onions, and tomatoes to honey and olive oil, each item has its own special qualities, and when we understand them, we can store them properly. This not only protects their flavor and texture, but also helps us keep more of their natural health benefits. For older adults, every meal is more than just something to fill the stomach. It is a way to take care of the body, strengthen memory, support the immune system, reduce inflammation and pain, and keep the joints flexible. Changing how you store your food is not a big task. Sometimes all it takes is a small step, like moving a jar of honey out of the fridge or placing bananas in a dry spot, and it can make a real difference in how you feel each day. The most important thing is you do not have to change everything at once. Start small. Choose one item from today's list that you may be storing the wrong way and make a simple change today. Then little by little, you will build a safer, healthier kitchen. So now let me ask you, which of these foods are in your fridge right now, and do you feel it might be time to change that? Did anything in today's video surprise you? Please leave a comment and share your story with me. Because good health does not come from knowledge alone. It also comes from sharing support and understanding. If you found today's tips helpful, do not forget to click like and subscribe so you will not miss the upcoming videos. In the next episodes, I will share how to spot inflammation-causing foods, build a diet for stronger joints, and simple ways to stay active and flexible after age 60. Until then, I wish you peace, good health, and the strength to take care of yourself every day. See you again in the next video.